if you are somebody who has qualified NEET and doesn't want to let the high cost of MBBS in India stop you from pursuing your dream of becoming a doctor, then this video is for you. If you want to go and study abroad for your MBBS, the biggest thing that you will need to keep in your mind is a proper breakdown of the finances that are going to be involved. And a majority of students who go for study abroad don't know the costs that are involved in their study abroad journey, and hence only when they set foot in the country, a month goes by or maybe a few months go by, and then they realize that they've gone way over budget that they had initially thought. So the solution to this is you have a good idea about the proper breakdown of the costs involved in your study abroad journey. This way you'll be able to plan your budget more effectively, and it will help you from having the correct expectations and not overspending in your budget, and that way you'll be able to sleep easier at night. So let's get started. So the very first thing is, what are the types of costs involved? So first is tuition fee. Obviously you're going there to study, not for vacation. I mean, a little bit of vacation, but mostly it's going to be study. So tuition fee is going to be a big part of your budget. It should be 40 to 45 to maybe even 50% of the cost of your entire budget should go to the tuition fee. Flight tickets, obviously. So the biggest thing when it comes to flight tickets is, make sure to pick the right airways when you're booking your flights, because let's say for instance a website like Make My Trip versus a website like Etihad Airways. Etihad, you would find, let's say you want to study MBBS in Russia, you would find that the flight to Russia might be 60,000, 70,000 in Etihad Airways website. Whereas if you go the standard, more popular websites like Make My Trip and other websites like that, the flight ticket to Russia might cost you close to a lakh or very easily over 1 lakh. So you would save a good 30 to 40,000 by picking the right website to book your flights from, or picking the right airways to for your journey. Of course, if you're from India, you probably already know not to pick Air India if you're from India. So avoid expensive flights and pick better airways like Etihad Airways that are more economical, and that will actually help you save 30 40,000, which that money that you saved you can spend it on other things that are more useful for you instead of just spending it on a flight. So next would be administration fee. This is broken into two parts. Your college might charge some, the university that you go to for your MBBS abroad might charge administrative fees. Sometimes in some countries when students go down, they have to pay some sort of administrative fee to the local police there for registrations and stuff like that. So that is also a cost. So administrative fee, sometimes by university or sometimes by to the local police or other types of verifications that happen there, that would come under administrative fee. And make sure that this is a very legitimate expense. You will 100% encounter some or the other form of administrative fee, so you should know that that is also something you have to account for in your budget. The other thing is obviously acquiring your visa and then every year renewing your visa. So if you do MBBS abroad, it will be 6 years or roughly, and acquiring your visa is one thing, and then every year you'll have to pay some sort of fee to keep renewing your study visa there, and that cost also is something that is a recurring cost for you. So that is something definitely you need to account in your budget. The other thing would be the food, the groceries, and the mess, essentially the food part. So this depends based on, let's say you go to a university but somehow the university's hostel is full and you don't find the hostel, then you won't have any, then you have no choice but to get a apartment or some flat or something like that close to your university. And the cooking arrangement also, then you would have to take care on your own, or maybe in the apartment that you stay they might provide some food facilities. It really depends from person to person what kind of situation they might find themselves in. So food, groceries will is definitely are definitely going to be a pretty big chunk of your expenses. I'd say a good 20 to 25%. The other thing is health insurance. For health insurance, most likely when you get your admission in the university itself, right when you pay the first semester fee or whatever is the starting requirement, starting confirmation for you to acquire your admission, to reserve your admission in that university, then itself your health insurance, a part of the package that the university will offer you, will include the health insurance. So health insurance is something that will already be included, but it is good to keep in mind that a part of your money is going for health insurance. And you don't have to get, usually most of the times you don't have to get any other separate health insurance, because the university itself that you go to, it will be a part of it. More in a lot of cases when you go abroad for studying, if you don't have health insurance, they won't even let you set foot in the country, because health insurance is like a big deal in abroad nations. So health insurance is something that will definitely be quite important, and it should, in most cases, it will already be a part of your package, that is the university package that you will pay the initial fee for. So when it comes to the police verification is something that happens both before you go for abroad, that is during your visa stage for your study abroad, and after you have set foot in that country. Then in some countries you have to get your police verification done by the local police there every year. This is to ensure that, let's say you came for a 6-year visa for studying. This is to make sure that you don't overstay your visa. Let's say you take a 6-year visa, but then you stay there for like 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. So to avoid that, every year you will be needed to do some sort of police verification, where the police might visit you or you might have to visit them, and sometimes you might need to pay some fee for that police verification. But yeah, this is also something that exists and something that you should know, that it might be a recurring cost for you potentially. And another thing after that comes document apostilling charges. So document apostilling, in pretty simple words, is essentially verifying whether your certificates that you provide, that is your 10th pass, your 12th pass, and those degrees that you provide, to make sure that those degrees are not fake and that they are actually valid. That is the reason why document apostilling exists. Essentially, it is validating your documents. And this is also something that will happen during your visa stage, visa acquisition stage. And usually whoever is your consultant, because odds are you will be going through a consultant, the consultant himself usually would get your entire document apostling and all of that done. But there are some charges involved for the document apostling, and you should be aware that it is not free, and that you will have to pay some sort of fee for it during your acquiring visa stage. And after that, transportation, transportation is optional, because it depends. If you get the hostel in the university itself, then obviously you won't really have any transportation charges. But if you are one of those people who don't get the hostel in the university, then you might have to stay outside of university, some distance away from the university. Then there might be some sort of transportation charges involved for you on a daily basis. So the next come the hostel and rent charges. So it's pretty straightforward. If you can get hostel in the university that you are going to, just get that, because that will be the most convenient for you. But if you are in a situation where the hostel is full and you have no choice but to get some sort of apartment or some sort of place on rent near your university, then there might be rent charges involved. And usually that's more of a pain, because for rent you need to go ahead and get the registration, and sometimes that takes quite a bit of time. The best case would be you just get into hostel. That will be a lot easier for you. And usually hostel will also have a mess and stuff like that, so your food and your accommodation both will be taken care of if you just get into the hostel. Another thing is consultant charges. So there is a lot of negativity by other influencers and other content creators online about how, oh, consultants are evil, they do this, they scam you, this, that. All of that is very subjective and it's their opinion. Honestly, if you want to have a good experience with any consultant, you don't have to come to us, just go to any consultant. You should always expect two things. First is, whatever it is that is the cost involved, always ask the complete breakdown of all the costs involved. Like, you will not pay a rupee more than whatever is the cost breakdown that they give you. First is that. Second thing is, make sure that you get a contract about a contract and an invoice that this is the money that you are paying them, and this are the terms of service that they will provide for you. They will take care of, usually any good consultant will take care of everything for you, from your entire admission phase to your document apostling, your other charges involved, A to Z, everything usually a good consultant will take care of. And on top of that, there should be complete transparency about all the costs involved. So to summarize, a complete breakup of all the costs involved and a contract along with an invoice for you. These are the two things that you should ask from any consultant, any study abroad consultant who you decide to work with to secure your admission. This is something that we do for all the students that come and work with us. We always give them a complete cost breakup of all the expenses involved, and we make them sign a contract which specifies all of the things that we will do for them, and the cost and the money they are expected to pay, and the terms and conditions are very clearly laid down. Only after the students sign the contract and see the complete cost breakup, only then we take whatever charges that we take from them. And usually consultant charges, depending on consultants, more often than not, most consultancies take about 1.5 or 2 lakhs or a little bit more than 2 lakhs with some GST. That is usually how much consultants take for study abroad MBBS. You should have the reason I'm telling you all this is that you should have an idea about the cost. If there are consultants who take 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs more than that, they only for Caribbean and stuff like that, some consultants take at that level, but usually that's very overpriced. Most of the consultants, most of the big consultants, most of the small consultants, almost everybody, the standard rate for study abroad MBBS is close to 2 lakh. That is how much consultants charge. So usually initially what you would be expected to pay when you work with any good consultant is they will give you a complete cost breakup of all the costs of all the expenses involved, plus they will make you sign a contract. Only then they will take the consultant fee plus your initial admission reservation fee. Even the admission reservation fee is the money paid to the university, where your first semester, maybe your first semester or your first year, depending on the university, you'll have to pay that fee. You won't have to pay the entire 6-year university cost at once. You won't have to do that. You'll obviously pay it either, most likely you'll be paying it year by year, or maybe in some cases you might pay it semester by semester. Most likely you'll be paying year by year. So usually the upfront charge that you will be paying any consultant would be the consultant fee plus the admission reservation fee. And now, after that is done, you'll obviously have your basic necessities, your sim, your basic appliances you might need for cooking and stuff like that, and then setting up a bank account, bank charges, currency conversion charges, etc. Those all will be there. And sometimes you might have other miscellaneous expenses like yeah, let's say you want to write your college is conducting an exam, so there'll sometimes be an exam fee. You might have to pay for that. So all of these smaller charges are also there. So keep that in the miscellaneous fee, and obviously keep some sort of emergency fund. Let's say the cost to go to a country, let's say you want to do MBBS in Russia, around 30 to 32 lakhs is the cost of getting your entire MBBS done in Russia along with living expenses. So in that case, you don't just take exactly 32 lakhs, you keep 35 lakhs in reserve total budget. So whatever emergency fund is just little bit of that extra money. This is just basic financial common sense. Just have some sort of extra buffer money, which is, you know, just there for you in the case any emergency strikes. So that's it. These are all the costs involved in your MBBS journey. This is like most of the costs. Maybe there might be some other extra costs that might come, but this covers like 95% of all the costs in your study abroad journey. So, and another thing is, despite all of these costs involved, doing MBBS abroad will still be less than half the cost of doing MBBS in India. In India, MBBS is very expensive. You know that if even if you get into some private university, some private college for MBBS in India, it will cost you 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, 1 crore easily. And that is if you get into a private one. There are people who get very good ranks in competitive in highly competitive exams like NEET and stuff like that, and they are able to get a free government seat for MBBS, so their entire MBBS is free. But these people are like extreme toppers. They've studied really hard, and all they do is study, and only then they're able to get like ranks like that. Is that something definitely I haven't gotten in my life. For most intents and purposes, MBBS in India is just way too expensive. And despite all of the costs we've just discussed, even if you add all of them up and even go beyond the budget, it will still be less than half the cost of what it will be to do MBBS in India. This is that much cost disparity. So now coming to country-wise realistic numbers. So if you go to Nepal, which is a decent option if you want to go to a country that is right beside India, very similar climate to India, and the patience, the food, the language, everything is very similar to India. You won't even need a visa to go to Nepal, just a neighbor of India. So here the cost of your MBBS is going to be 40 to 40 is going to be 40 to 50 lakhs, and that is a realistic budget. And most expensive is going to be a big chunk of this is going to be the tuition fee for MBBS. If you want to know which country is the best for you for MBBS abroad and what factors to consider to pick the best country for you, then we've already made a long video in detail about countries, going over the good and the bad about the countries. That video, that one big video, is the only video you will need to watch for all your research. You won't need to do any further research beyond that video, and we'll just list it in the card up below in YouTube right now. So you can go ahead and watch that video if you want to know which country is the best for you. So resuming the current one, yeah, so Nepal, so summary, Nepal is going to cost you 40 to 50 lakhs. Bangladesh is also very similar in cost to Nepal. It will cost you 40 to 50 lakhs, and Bangladesh is not really a very good option to go for currently because of the harsh political climate there. All of this is something we discussed in the long form video. You can go ahead and watch that if you're not sure about what I'm talking. So coming to Philippines, it is very expensive. So it will cost you 40 to 60 lakhs for your MBBS in Philippines. Living expenses is very high in Philippines. Russia, it's one of the cheaper countries. It's going to cost you 30 to 40 lakhs. Realistic number would be 32 something lakhs. Groceries and stuff, groceries that normal Indians would want is more expensive in Russia. So that is the reason why you might go a little bit over budget, but overall it's pretty cheap compared to everything else. Georgia is going to cost you 40 to 45 lakhs combined your tuition and living. And Uzbekistan is one of the better options if your goal is to just study. If your goal is to come back to India as soon as possible and spend as little money as possible on your MBBS, then Uzbekistan will be the best option for you. It will cost you 27 to 30 lakhs. Uzbekistan is a very cheap country and a pretty safe country as well. And 27 to 32 lakhs is going to be the combined tuition and living expenses. Same with Kyrgyzstan, it's very similar to Uzbekistan, 27 to 32 lakhs. Kazakhstan is a little bit more expensive than its other Eastern counterparts. It's bigger, it's a bigger nation, and there are a lot of private universities there. As a result, private universities, they charge a little bit more. So the budget would be, the realistic budget for MBBS in Kazakhstan would be 35 to 40 lakhs. So with that, we've wrapped up all the popular destinations for MBBS abroad, and we have covered so in this video, we've given you all the costs that you can potentially expect in your study abroad journey for MBBS, and we've also given you a realistic budget for different countries to keep in your mind, so that you have an idea as to how much you might be spending when you pick a particular country. With that, we've just concluded the finances involved in study abroad. And just to give you a summary of everything, your budget is less than 30 lakhs, and your goal is just to come back to India and become a doctor, become a practicing doctor in India, and you want the fastest and cheapest route for that, then any Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, or Kazakhstan will be the best option for you. If you have a little bit higher budget, then you can go for Russia with 30 to 40 lakhs. And if you have a higher budget of 40 to 45 lakhs and you don't have any interest in coming back to India, you want to get a high quality medical education, you want to write USMLE, and you want to settle down in USA, become a practicing doctor in USA, then Georgia is a good option for you. So that's about it. These are some of our upcoming videos. We will have interviews with Indian students who are currently pursuing their MBBS abroad. We'll bring in students who are studying medicine in Uzbekistan, in Russia, and other places like that. And we'll also make videos about specific universities, and we'll also make video on, is MBBS abroad 2025 for you? Should you go for MBBS abroad, or should you drop a year for NEET? We'll make videos on all these specific topics. So stay tuned and subscribe to our channel so that you can watch those videos and come to and make an informed decision about your choices.